There being no objection, leave is granted. Senator Ruston.
Thank you, Madam Deputy President. In response to questions asked yesterday by Senator Hanson in relation to the use of foreign fishing vessels in Australian waters, I would like to provide the following additional information to that which was provided by Senator Birmingham. I have been advised, after discussions with the Australian Fisheries Management Authority, that from time to time it responds to requests for information regarding bringing in boats from overseas to fish in the Australian fishing zone. However, I can confirm to the chamber that neither the Australian Government nor the Australian Fisheries Management Authority is engaged in any discussions with the Chinese Government or any other government in relation to either the acquisition of foreign fishing licences or the deeming of vessels as Australian fishing vessels so as to operate in the Australian fishing zone. I have further been advised by AFMA that no approvals are in place for any foreign vessels fishing to operate in Commonwealth waters under deeming provisions. If there has been any deceit, it has been the very dishonest campaign prosecuted in recent weeks by environmental campaigners such as the Save Our Marine Life to deliberately mislead the Australian people with regards to foreign fishing fleets and the proposed network of Australian marine parks. Without any evidence and contrary to the facts, it has been claimed that Australian waters, including those proposed for marine parks, are about to be flooded with cheap distant water fishing fleets. I absolutely, outrightly reject these ridiculous claims and call them out for what they are: unsubstantiated scaremongering. The campaign deliberately fails to acknowledge Australia's global reputation as a world leader in fisheries management, especially in terms of ecological and environmental perspectives, which has resulted in no fishery solely managed by the Commonwealth being overfished for the 4th consecutive year this year. The campaign deliberately fails to acknowledge that Australia's fisheries management regime ensures that the total allowable of catches for all fish stocks are set at ecologically sustainable levels. The campaign deliberately fails to acknowledge that any vessel operating in Australian waters must follow Commonwealth fisheries rules and regulations. There are absolutely no exemptions to this requirement whatsoever. The campaign deliberately fails to acknowledge that any fishing vessel, either foreign or Australian, cannot fish in declared no-take marine protected areas or green zones. The campaign deliberately fails to reference the extremely strict requirements the Australian Government imposes on such vessels, should they ever be approved to fish in Australian waters, which are outlined in the Australian Fisheries Management Act 1991. The campaign deliberately fails to acknowledge that the new marine parks will strengthen conservation outcomes, support sustainable fishing, attract more tourism, provide cultural, recreational and economic benefits for coastal communities, and deliver investment certainty for the fishing businesses. The Coalition Government's management of marine parks will restore a balanced approach and allow a variety of uses for our shared marine resources. The Coalition will not only safeguard our marine ecosystems, but also the interests of current and future generations of Australian people by striking the right balance between economic, social and environmental objectives consistent with the aspirations of the entire Australian community. Under this Coalition Government, Australians can be confident that we will have both world-class best practice marine park networks and the world's best practice fisheries management.
Thank you, Senator Ruston, and I will remind you and other ministers when seeking to provide additional comments, if they're more than a couple of Hansard leave, if there are more than a couple of paragraphs, leave is normally sought to incorporate your answers into Hansard. So thank you.